joining. We're glad you're here with us today for LMU's Fall Graduate Open House and joining specifically us in the School of Education. My name is Erin Boyle, and I'm a graduate admission counselor in the School of Education. And our team, as well as our entire, team of faculty and staff, are really here to help guide future educators like many of you are and wanting to become on the pathway to earning your California teaching credential and your master's degree. So thanks for joining, and let's get started. So we'll go ahead and well, I want to go ahead and welcome our SOE faculty and staff that are also joining me today. I'll have them go around and introduce themselves in a moment, but before we jump in, I just want to get a quick sense of who else is joining us and visiting with us today. So if you'd like, feel free to answer in the chat below just where you're joining us from, and also what grade level or subject you're hoping to teach. We always like to know that so we can mention anything specific to point out. And while you're doing that, we'll go ahead and get started. Let's start with Dr. Marianne Kerkorian.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Krikorian. I am the Academic Program Director for the Master of Arts in Transformative Education, and I am also faculty in our Department of Teaching and Learning.
Thanks. And we'll have Dr. Magali Lavadens.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Magali Lavadens. I am a faculty in the Department of Ed Leadership. I'm co-director of the Bilingual Authorization program in Spanish and Mandarin, along with Dr. Joy E., who is not with us today. And also, I'm the executive director of the Center for Equity for English Learners.
Thank you. And I know another member of our team just hopped on. Sarah, would you like to just quickly introduce yourself?
Sure, yes. Hi, my name is Sarah Seinfeld. I'm the director of our teacher residency program and our traditional graduate program here at LMU. And I was a former sixth grade science teacher, school administrator, and then joined LMU 3 years ago. So looking forward to working with you.
Thanks. And we're also joined by someone from our general graduate admissions office. Emily, if you'd like to introduce yourself as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Haney. I'm the Assistant Director of Graduate Recruitment and Central Graduate Admission. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. I can't wait for you to hear so many great things from our faculty and Erin.
Thanks. All right, and thanks everyone who's going off in the chat. It's always awesome to see exactly what everyone's interested in and where you all are from. So yeah, if you see anything of interest, feel free to, or questions you have, you're more than welcome to put questions in the chat as we go. But we will also have time at the end for a little Q&A with me, as well as faculty and staff that are around. So feel free to also save it for the end if you want to see what other information we have to share. But anyways, let's get further. All right. So as LMU is a Jesuit institution, not only LMU and the School of Education are both grounded in our Ignatian values, which include focus on educating the whole person, including the mind, the heart, and the spirit, while making a commitment to social equity and service. So because of these core values, and our mission, our programs combine theory and practice to not only support equity-minded action that drives real systemic change, but also candidate-centered learning that focuses on you and your growth as the candidate. And you are also, in a community that nurtures compassion and inclusion. So at LMU, we're not just preparing teachers, we are truly preparing educators to lead with purpose inside and outside the classroom. So at the heart of all of it, we fully believe every student deserves an inclusive and compassionate teacher. And that belief is what guides us in everything we do. So when you're joining LMU, you're not just enrolling in a teacher preparation program, but you're truly joining a mission-driven community of educators as well. So a little by the numbers bragging, LMU is consistently recognized as one of the top schools of education in the country. We're currently ranked #2 among Jesuit schools of education. We are also number 2 among private schools in the state of California, and we are also in the top 5% of schools of education nationwide. So these rankings, I think, really reflect our commitment to educational excellence, innovation, and our impact in the teacher preparation program that we offer. All right, so before we get into the weeds of how our LMU program works, I just want to quickly cover California's credentialing system. Some of you may be familiar with some of it, some of you may know nothing about it. So just to give you a little understanding before we go into how our program works. So California does have a tiered credentialing system, which means there are stages that you meet and have their own sets of requirements that you need to complete in order to eventually earn your full Clear California teaching credential. So with LMU, all candidates will work towards earning their preliminary teaching credential, which you could see at Tier 2 right in there, which you will be recommended for at the end of year 1 in our program of a possible 1 to 2 year program. So after completing with LMU and all your California requirements, you will then be recommended for that preliminary credential. When you start with LMU, and depending on the program pathway you choose to apply for, which we will cover all of these options later on in the presentation, but some of you may be required to earn, you see at Tier 1, an intern credential or a permit before starting with LMU and your classroom assignment. So if you're teaching full-time while in the program in a public or public charter school, LMU will recommend you for that intern credential and advise on any LMU or California state requirements that need to be met prior to starting the program in order to receive either your intern credential, or we have a pathway for resident teachers where you'll start on a substitute permit and that will be provided and processed through your partner school. So we'll be there to help advise on that if you do require one of those to begin our program. Otherwise, everyone, like I said, will be working towards that Tier 2 preliminary credential. So once you complete your coursework and fieldwork and CTC California state requirements, LMU will be able to recommend you for that preliminary credential, which will allow you to teach in California schools for 5 years. So once you get your preliminary credential, you can be, hired as a normal teacher in a classroom of record, and you'll work towards completing a district-led induction program to get your clear credential. So essentially, it's a mentoring program through your district employer. So for example, if you get hired after you finish with LMU as a teacher within LAUSD, you could then enroll in the LAUSD induction program and work towards the steps to clear your credential with your employer. And once that stage is completed and you get all of that submitted to this California Commission for Teacher Credentialing, that will clear your credential permanently. And from there on, you just renew it online every 5 years to remain an eligible teacher. So I know there's a lot to that process, but like I said, we are here with you through that stage. And even after you leave and you're clearing your credential, we always have people here you can come back to for advice or to look over things. But I just wanted to give a little bit of that overview so that we can go into this next slide to talk about our awesome 1+1 program, or I like to call it Do More in Less. So one of the biggest benefits of LMU's teacher prep program is our 1+1 model. It's designed, like I said, to help you do more in less time. So in year 1, you'll complete your preliminary teaching credential, whether that's your multiple subject, if you want to teach elementary grades, single subject, if you want to teach a specific subject in middle or high school. And we also offer an education specialist credential if you're passionate about supporting students with mild to moderate support needs. And then this option, the Ed Specialist credential, can also be actually combined as a dual credential program where you can get your Education Specialist credential and your elementary multiple subject credential simultaneously still within that first year of the program. So if you are interested in both of those fields, or you think, oftentimes I do find that our students find having that Ed Specialist credential in a general classroom is also very beneficial as a teacher. So if you're interested in something like that, you can still complete 2 credentials within 1. So each program takes about, you can see 20 to max 27 units of coursework, depending on your program and pathway choices. But regardless of the path you take or credential you pursue, all classes are entirely offered online in the late afternoons and evenings. So you can definitely fully balance being a present educator and a graduate student, all while working towards your career goals. So that's year one of our program. And within, oh yeah, I want to cover, before we go into year two, just a little bit more on California credentialing, because this is basically everything that you are going to need to complete within that first year in order to then be recommended, as we said, for that credential. So and again, depending on your pathway that you apply for, it will depend on when all of this needs to be completed. But you will have not only an academic advisor, you have us as an admissions counselor throughout the process, and you also have your faculty and student success teams there to help guide you. So to earn your intern or preliminary credential, there's, like I said, a few state requirements you need to meet in order to be eligible for recommendation. So you'll demonstrate subject matter competency. Usually this is done by passing the CSET exams in the subject or credential you're pursuing, or by holding a bachelor's degree in an approved subject area. So for example, you have the multiple subject credential for elementary. If you majored in liberal studies or elementary education, it can waive the CSET requirement for you, essentially, you won't have to take those exams. Alternately, we also offer a coursework review request that can be submitted in the online application. If you think you majored in something very similar to an approved subject, or if you minored in something like you minored in English and when you teach English, we're happy to do a coursework review to help you meet subject matter in any possible way. So we're here for you for that. You also need to meet the US Constitution requirement, again, usually through either coursework you may have taken, like a political science class, or if not, we also have links and offers for CTC approved online exams that you can take. So we will also review that during the application process and determine which option works best for you to meet that requirement. And then lastly, everyone will also need to obtain a certificate of clearance, which goes through a background check and a live scan fingerprinting process. Again, depending on your pathway, we will be here to guide you throughout the application process so you know when these will need to be required. Some of you may need to, depending on your pathway, meet these before you actually start classes at LMU, whereas some of you, depending on your pathway, will have the option to work on them through that either first semester or first year in the program. So again, don't worry, we're here to help you navigate every single one of these steps, and we definitely won't leave you on your own to figure out all of the complicated processes. All right, so when you have all of those complete and you're ready to and you've been recommended for your credential, you can then move into year two of our program, which focuses specifically on the Masters of Education. So I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Krikorian, who is our academic program director for our Masters of Education in Transformative Ed. So thanks, Marianne. Please take it away.
Thanks, Erin. So the Master of Arts in Transformative Education, also known as TREAD, I'm going to use that acronym for short, is designed for credential candidates who have completed their first year of teacher preparation coursework with a minimum GPA of 3.0. This program is ideal for educators who want to go beyond foundational teaching to explore bigger questions in education, develop research-informed practices, and prepare for leadership or advocacy roles in schools and communities. I often describe this program as a progression. Year one centers on the pragmatics of teaching and learning, building strong classroom foundations. And then year two deepens that work by exploring the ideological, epistemological, and methodological dimensions of education, preparing you to lead and navigate with all of the complexity that exists in our world and in the field. We also understand the demands many of our students face, whether teaching full-time or managing other responsibilities. And the TREAD program is designed with flexibility and support in mind. Our faculty are accessible and invested, and your peers become a powerful source of collaboration and encouragement along this journey. Over the years, I have seen students enter this program eager to teach and leave not just with new skills, but with strong sense of purpose, confidence, and clarity about the kind of educator and advocate that they really want to be. So by the end of this program, you will be able to analyze the broader context of education through courses like our context of schooling. You will engage in meaningful research to promote equity and inclusion, particularly through the Research Capstone Project. You'll apply theory and research in your chosen concentration area. And then lastly, you will advocate for social justice through collaborative inquiry, which is a thread woven throughout the entire program. So what does this all prepare you for? I am hearing that you're asking in your thoughts. TRED graduates go on to become mentor teachers, instructional leaders, curriculum specialists, policy advocates, school board officials, even authors, and some even go on to pursue doctoral studies as well. So whatever path that you take, TRED is equips you to lead from wherever you are, in the classroom, in your school, or in the wider education system. The program also offers several concentration areas to align your study with your interests and your professional goals. Do note that these concentration offerings are subject to minimum enrollment and departmental availability, so not all of the concentrations are always offered every year. But as I walk through these concentrations, I encourage you to reflect. What issues in education spark your passion? And what challenges do you feel called to address? These are questions that can guide your choice when you are deciding on a concentration area. We do offer a concentration in digital learning, which explores how technology shapes teaching and learning. You'll learn to integrate tech tools effectively while critically examining their impact on equity and engagement. We offer a concentration on educational policy and administration, which is in collaboration with our administration program. This concentration is ideal for those interested in school leadership or policy work. We also offer the language and culture concentration, which is in partnership with our bilingual bicultural program. And Dr. Lavidens will go into more depth about this concentration as well, as it also offers candidates a bilingual authorization in Spanish or Mandarin. This would be an ideal option for those aiming to teach in a multilingual classroom. We also offer a social, emotional, and cultural learning and wellness concentration that emphasizes emotional literacy and the development of helping skills to support holistic student well-being and cultures of care, and building cultures of care. And then lastly, we have the Inclusive Education and Disability Studies concentration, which is designed for those passionate about inclusive learning environments. And this track builds expertise in supporting students with a wide range of abilities across the K-12 setting. So if you have any operational or logistical questions, please reach out to the program lead of your specific partnership or cohort. For questions about curriculum or student experiences, I'm happy to be your point of contact as the academic program director. And I thank you for being here and for considering the TRED program as part of your academic journey and professional goals. And we look forward to the opportunity to co-construct your graduate education with you. And wherever you are in that journey, we hope that TRED offers a space where you can grow, be challenged, and become the kind of educator our students and communities truly need in this context.
Thank you, Dr. Krikorian. And now we'll have Dr. Lavidens go over the bilingual authorization, which is a really great option that we can include in this program.
Yes, thank you so much. And as Erin shared, and the slides indicates it's a 1+1 model. When you choose the option for a bilingual authorization in Spanish or Mandarin, it's really a 1+1+1. You would receive your basic credential in multiple or single subject. and a master's degree and a bilingual authorization, which is a highly sought after authorization to be allowing you to teach in a dual language setting, in a target language, partner language like Spanish or Mandarin. The bilingual authorizations are really the same within the language and culture concentration. They are one and the same. It requires you to take an initial language proficiency examination. So it's not about learning how to use Spanish or Mandarin, but it's really about learning to teach in those kinds of settings through the pedagogy, the culture, and the deeper analysis of what it means to be bilingual in this culture, in this day, and in this time, in a transnational world. So the three classes that are required are similar to what I just said. One is Spanish pedagogy or Mandarin pedagogy, the culture class, and the third is bilingualism and biliteracy, which are more theoretical and very interconnected. The bilingually authorized educator is in high demand as there is a large growth and expansion of dual language programs, not just in Southern California or California as a state, but nationally. Every single state in the country has a seal of biliteracy, and it's a pathway in which it is a growth opportunity to be hired and much in demand. I saw that Miriam in the text indicated that she wants to have a bilingual authorization and thinking about Spanish as an added authorization, as well as others of you who are already bilingual. We have many opportunities for grants, additional grants that are part of the bilingual authorization program, and the models which are out there, which Dr. Seinfeld will show you a little bit about, will share with you a little bit about. If you have questions about the bilingual authorization, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. All of our emails are at the end of this slide deck. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing on that. And then just lastly, for our ed specialist or dual credential candidates, you might choose instead to complete an MA in special education, which dives deeper into that field. And rather than a choice of concentration, you dive into a research project to focus in your choice. So it's a great option if you're planning on staying in that field or want to expand your knowledge and skill set there as well. So again, all courses are continued to be offered online and flexible, so you can continue to work for as and for other educators, even with keep your busy schedules of working and coursework. So let's continue on to our pathways. So I'm gonna let our Dr. Seinfeld take over in just a second. But I just want to say our pathways is a choice that you'll get to make when you're going through the application process. And this is how you're going to be completing the field work portion. So the in-classroom portion of your time with us. So we'll start with these first two pathways and I will let Dr. Seinfeld explain those to you.
Great, thanks, Erin. I'm going to talk about two options out of 4 different potential options that you would have as a teacher in your first year of the credential program. So this is the first year when you're earning your credential, you do have clinical requirements, much like you do in any sort of field where you're learning skills that need to be practiced in the field itself. So we have 2 specific pathways that I'm going to talk about, the student teacher and the resident teacher pathway. The student teacher is a more traditional pathway where we have opportunities for you to be matched with a mentor teacher in a classroom. And typically we have you matched 1 semester with 1 teacher in 1 setting, and then your second semester with a different mentor teacher in another setting. And this is to give you a variety of experiences in whatever subject area you are pursuing. We have options for fieldwork placement in the greater LA area. And we want to just note that your placement, while we do consider personal preferences and matching, it is contingent upon what subject area and schools we do have available for you. So this may require some commuting depending on your location. There are 2 semesters of coursework for this program and 2 semesters of student teaching related to it. And there is a admit term in summer or fall semester for this pathway. For the resident student teacher, this is a very similar structure. However, it is in a partnership agreement with several of our partners, and we will be, sorry about that. We will be matching you through the residency partnership with one of our partners who will then actually hire you as an employee. And this is actually a paid opportunity where you'll be working in schools full-time with one mentor teacher for the duration of the school year. The admin term for a resident student teacher is summer. And as I mentioned, the placement would be a full year experience. And there is some opportunity to substitute teach in this placement as well, which does come with some additional pay. So I neglected to mention this, but in the student teacher pathway, that is an unpaid opportunity, although there are some grant funds coming down the pipeline that are accessible to student teachers as well. So those are 2 of our more traditional options with full year-long mentorship experience at one of our partner schools.
Thank you, Dr. Seinfeld. And real quick, we had another faculty member join us who is also part of the Bilingual Authorization Program and part of SOE. So Dr. E, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody, and I'm so happy to join this meaningful meeting. My name is Dr. Joy E. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Teaching and Learning, and with my esteemed colleague, Dr. Magali Lavadens, I'm the co-director of the Bilingual program. So nice to be joining this. So nice to be meeting with everybody and looking forward to more conversations coming up. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. So, and thanks again, Sarah, for sharing those first two pathways. So now we'll go over our next 2 pathways. So the intern teacher pathway, we'll cover that first. So well, first I'll start by saying that these 2 options that we'll cover are great fits for those who may already be working in schools or have classroom experience and would like a little more of an independent option. So as in the first 2, you would have definitely a field work advisor and mentor teacher that you can work with at your school. These ones you would be a little bit more or very much more in charge of your own classroom and students. So like I said, but both of these are options that allow you to earn your credential while working full time. But the type of school that you want to work with or you are currently working with will determine which pathway best applies to you. So if we start with the intern teacher pathway, this option is designed for candidates to teach in their own classroom at a public or charter school while completing credential coursework online with LMU. So you'll need to have a full-time teaching position secured usually before the fall semester, and LMU will recommend you for what's called the intern credential, which was at that tier 1 of the tiered credentialing process. So that's your official teaching credential in progress, which will authorize you to be the teacher of record while earning your tier 2 preliminary credential. And your coursework runs alongside your teaching. So in this pathway, both of these, you're really able to immediately apply what you're learning in real time. So for example, if you're taking a class, I don't know, on classroom management or inclusive instruction, you can try those strategies out like the very next day with your students. So you really can start to apply, as we said, take theory and apply it with practice into your classroom and really be able to get that experience going, in real time. So it is an extensive or intensive experience and extensive, but you're balancing teaching while also taking graduate coursework at the same time. But like our other pathways, you do have a dedicated LMU support team here to help you throughout the process. Again, starting from me and my team through recruitment admissions, all the way through your intern credential, all the way through your classes and exams you need to take and getting your preliminary credential at the end. So we work very closely with you and our partner schools and districts to make sure that all interns succeed both in the classroom and in our program as well. You can see some of our current partner organizations that we work with and employ interns include Teach for America, Green Dot, Camino Nuevo, Para los Niños, KIP, STEM Prep, Seneca, wonderful. And we're constantly always working with new ones and adding new ones. So if anyone is interested in exploring any more of those partnerships, you're more than welcome to reach out to us at the end of this for more information. But these partnerships definitely are a part of what makes LMU unique. They connect our programs directly with schools that are really committed to developing new teachers. So, like I said, if anyone is interested in exploring, please, you're more than welcome to reach out afterwards for more information on those partners. Next, the private school teacher pathway. So this next option is really designed for candidates who are already teaching full-time at a private or a Catholic school. It's any kind of private independent school. But this pathway recognizes the experience that as a teacher you've already gained in your own classroom and integrates it into your credential and master's program. So we already recognize that you are a teacher. You've been working as a teacher. You're not starting from scratch. So you're going to be able to continue building off your classroom and your school that you've already built that relationship and career with, while just enhancing your ability to be a really empowering educator for all students in your classroom. So it's really taking that next step in your career in this pathway. So this pathway still completes the same high quality coursework as our candidates in the other pathways, but your fieldwork, like I said, is through your already teaching role in your own classroom at your school. So also LMU has a very long-standing partnership with the Catholic Archdiocese. Oh my gosh, I always trip over this word. Catholic Archdiocesan School Teachers Program, our CAS program. And we also have our PLACE program, which is our partners in Los Angeles Catholic education. Both of these programs offer additional layers of mentoring and community support, specifically within Catholic education. CAST, for example, supports new Catholics or supports current Catholic school teachers who, again, are in their careers and wanting to grow further. So they come to us to get their credential or their master's to continue moving up in their career. And then alternatively, PLACE works with a lot of new Catholic school teachers who are wanting to continue, want to make a difference and impact in Catholic schools and get into working in those schools. So PLACE really combines graduate study with full-time teaching for new teachers, while you are also working in a living learning community that really focuses on professional development and service learning components as well. So again, these pathways are ideal for teachers who really want to deepen their practice and maybe the previous experience that they've already gained while earning their credential, and also become a part of a really supportive professional network, all while either staying at your current school, a school that you have a connection with, or applying and getting hired and finding a new school that you can start a career with. So and again, like all of our programs, again, the coursework is fully online, so you can still teach full-time during the day while completing your classes in the late afternoons or evenings from wherever you're located. So no worries about having to teach all day and get all the way across Los Angeles to LMU's campus. We're definitely accommodating and helping it stay flexible. All right, so after all of the pathway information, you may have seen that there are some certain start dates. So when do you start? Like I said, 2 start terms that we offer. Summer 2, which begins in late June, is our primary start term. Most of our candidates will start in this route because it allows them to finish their credential within that first year of the program. We also offer a fall semester that's a term start that starts in late August, which isn't available as an alternative start for our student teaching pathway. Our admissions and partnership and student success teams all work together to make sure that regardless of when you start in pathway, all CTC requirements are met when you need them to be, whether that's you're starting in summer 2 and need them met before you can enroll with us, or whether you're a student teacher who's starting in fall and you have a little bit more time to work with us and get those done while you're starting the program. So either way, you definitely can expect to complete your master's degree by the end of your second year, even if you start in the fall or if you start in the summer. So it still remains that 2-year program. Okay, so now for how do you apply to this program? So you can see there we have added in the LMU application for the graduate program. So you can go to that website if you're ready to start, get a look at the application. But here's a little bit about what you'll need in order to submit that online application. And also, I'll let you know that as you're going through our online applications, as you're filling out the program that you're interested in, it does then start to autofill the rest of the application. So you'll definitely want to make sure that you select the program you really want and you're interested in so that you get the right questions for your personal statement of intent and also what you know you need for your letters of recommendation. So that being said, everyone will need a personal statement of intent, and we do require that this is at least 2 pages minimum. We'd love it if you just, get at least one sentence onto the 3rd page minimum, even then. Just we want to, take time to answer the questions in our application and also get to know you as our candidate a little bit better and why you're really ready to start this program. Letters of recommendation, the number and who the letters by is dependent on the pathway or partnership or program that you're choosing. So like I said, when you fill out the application and select your specific program, when you get to the letters of recommendation section, it'll tell you exactly what you need, whether that's 1 letter or if that's 2, or if you're coming from a partnership and you're already hired by a school, you may not even need a letter of recommendation since you're already with a partnership. We also need all official transcripts. This includes obviously your bachelor's degree transcript from an accredited institution, but also any junior or community college classes you took. If we remember back to when we were talking about the CTC requirements and subject matter, I mentioned there is a way that we can use coursework to waive those required exams. So those community college transcripts can be really, really helpful in doing that. So if you took any coursework outside of your the university or college that you graduated from, you're definitely welcome to send those as well to help in that review. And then lastly, we do also require, or LMU has a 3.0 GPA requirement, but we do offer an exceptions process. So you will be able to either start that if you know your GPA falls below that and upload essentially another personal statement that's letting us know what may have been going on at that time that impacted your ability in school at the time. We know a lot of people were going through college at COVID up during the time. A lot, was happening with, personal lives in the world. So we really want to know what was happening, what was going on that you're willing to share with us, and why you're ready to take this next step in your career and get started with us. So it's definitely, there's no negative impact on having that in your application. Again, it's really just for us to get to know you and why you're ready to take that next step. And again, for those in our partnerships or intern pathways, again, you'll need a teaching placement and some CTC requirements completed before enrollment. But throughout the admissions process, once you get that online application in, my team is really there to help make sure that you have everything ready to go before we send it on to the next stage of review for admission. So we'll definitely try to catch anything that you either forget to upload, and we'll also consult and reach out to you if anything still needs to be completed or any last minute steps or what you can do while you're waiting for your application to be reviewed. So again, we're there pretty much the whole way. Okay, so tuition and financial aid. I have the very hot slide we leave for the very end since I know it's very important information for everyone. But luckily, LMU does offer generous financial aid and scholarships options. We always recommend that our candidates who qualify definitely look into the Teach Grant or the Golden State Teacher Grant. The Teach Grant can offer up to $4,000. The Golden State Teacher Grant can offer up to $10,000 for teachers working in high need fields. So it's free money that if you're eligible for, you definitely should apply for. We also have scholarships for City Year alumni and partner school teachers. So again, if you're interested in any of our partnerships, whether that's interns or residents or private school, you can definitely reach out to us for more information on becoming a part of those programs. And also, it's very important, and don't forget that you still in graduate school need to submit your FAFSA or DREAM application to really maximize your aid eligibility. Especially for those starting in that summer 2 term, you'll actually need to submit 2 FAFSAs. One you'll be starting your program at the end of one financial year. So for example, if you were starting this past summer, you would have wanted to submit the previous year's FAFSA, and then you're also going to want to submit the upcoming academic year's FAFSA, just to make sure that you're covered throughout. And again, we're here to also help cover all of that. And I know financing grad school, it's a really important question right now. So we also offer, or if anyone wants to reach out, that link down at the bottom, the soe.lmu.edu/admission/aid. Anyone's welcome to go to that website and look at additional grants and aid opportunities that can be offered for our teacher preparation candidates. So feel free to take a look at that. Most of those, you do already have to be admitted to LMU before you can apply for those. So just keep that in mind, that once you apply, you can still do a lot of work to get additional financial aid. So definitely reach out to us if you have any questions. Also, the Graduate Financial Aid Office information is put down here. If anyone wants to reach out to them as well, they offer one-on-one appointments via Zoom if you want to talk to a financial aid counselor and go over your award package or see what you might be eligible for as well. And speaking of financial aid, just a quick little input. So before we officially wrap up this presentation and do a quick little Q&A portion, we really invite you to join also one of these breakout resource sessions. So you'll see at 6 p.m. You can attend the financial aid or international admissions session. And at 6:30 p.m. you can also join the career and professional development session. These are really great opportunities for you to ask really detailed questions and connect with staff who can help you take the next step in making your ability to attend LMU and join our programs and get the most out of your time with us as possible. So I'll just provide, here's some Zoom links for everyone in case you want to hop to those after this. All right. And yeah, definitely recommend joining one of those after, since you've been here with us, and any additional information you can get out of them is always helpful. All right. And then just a last little thank you to everyone so much for joining us tonight and learning more about LMU's teacher preparation programs. We do truly believe that teaching is one of the most powerful ways that you can make a difference in our world right now. And we'd really be honored for you to join us and to be a part of your journey. So if you'd like to connect with us, I don't have each individual email on here, but if everyone going through can email the soeteacherprep@lmu.edu so we can get your information. We'll make sure that any other questions you have, if you come up with any later, get to the appropriate contact and we'll set you up with their information as well. So let's see, we will have about 15 minutes for questions. If anyone has any more questions for our faculty or staff who joined us today. And one last thing I'll say is, after this, you also receive a follow-up email from us with next steps and this contact information as well. So you can keep a lookout for that in your email after this, so you have that too. But feel free to write any of this down or scan that QR code to go to our website. But thank you again so much for joining us. And we do hope to welcome you to our LMU family very soon. So yeah, I'm happy to take off and start the Q&A session. I'll scroll back through the comments or the chat just to see if anyone has anything that wasn't answered. But otherwise, if anyone has a question, please feel free to, the floor is yours. Feel free to ask.
I have a question, but I wasn't sure if it is specific to just my particular case. Can I go ahead?
I mean, if you're more than welcome to share and ask. Otherwise, if you'd rather I offer one-on-one virtual sessions that I can put that link in the chat as well if anyone would like to talk one-on-one with me at another time.
I mean, yeah, that would be fine too.
Okay.
My
but-
basic question is this program starting? You'd mentioned that you showed us 2 slides. It said that it's 2 years of program. Right? I mean, this teaching credential program is for 2 years. And the
Mhm.
first year is satisfying the CTC requirements, and the second year is the teaching cohort teaching. Is that how it is?
So the first year, yeah, is everything included in getting your credential. So the online LMU coursework, the CTC requirements, and completing any fieldwork or in-classroom teaching that is required in the program. So all that is in the first year. And then the second year is really wrapping up the Masters of Arts. So going into that either choice of concentration or a research project and finishing out the MA in that second year.
Is there a separate program where you only offer the credential without the master's program?
Yeah, so you can definitely do the credential without the master's. Currently, when you submit the application, you do get admitted into both upfront, but you have the option to either at the end of that first year not continue with the master's if you decide not to. But we definitely give you a year to make that decision, think about the concentrations. But you'll be able to work with your academic advisor if you decide that you don't want to continue with the MA or just want to finish after the credential. So there's definitely that option once you submit an application to change that.
Okay. So you actually have to apply for a master's program and then withdraw from that only after the end of first year. Is that how you're saying?
So so you're basically the application, whether you're getting into the MA or just the credential, is the same. So it's the same application within the same general transformative education program. But yeah, it mostly would be either you just, if you don't want to continue the second year, then yeah, we could remove that from your program and you would be a credential only candidate.
Thank you.
Miriam, you have your hand raised.
Yes, I had a question. So I was interested in the bilingual credential and the multi-subject credential, but I also want the special education one. So is there a way to get essentially the 3 of them? Because I would need the 3 of them, like the multi-subject, the bilingual, and the SPED.
Yeah, so you would definitely be able to do that dual credential program we mentioned. So the multiple subject and the ed specialist credential in year 1. And then in year 2, you could complete the MA in transformative education rather than the MA in special education. And through that MA in transformative education, you could, then the language and culture concentration, you would be able to then get that bilingual authorization as well. So still 2 years, but yes, you could get all of that as well.
Got it. And I know that for the application as well. So I think I spoke to you earlier this year because I wanted to join for the summer this year, but because I was doing it as an intern, I couldn't secure a position as a teacher at the job I'm currently in. So if I wasn't able to secure, because I don't want to let another whole year, because it only starts in the summer. So I don't want to let another whole year go by. So if I wanted to apply, like as an intern, but in the case that I wouldn't be able to, can I apply for student teacher as well, just in case? Or how would it go if you apply for intern and you can't secure a position?
Yeah, so in that instance, you're more than welcome, to submit an application for the intern program. If you're unable to secure an intern teaching position, we could then move you to the student teaching pathway. But then we would likely then shift your start term to the fall at that point. If we needed more time to get you then set up with a teaching placement. If we had enough time to switch you in the summer and you knew that you wanted to start in the summer, we could. But if you wanted to take a little extra time to find a teaching placement before the fall term starts, then we could also start you in the fall as a student teacher instead. But yes, the pathways are flexible and can be changed. You'll just want to let us know so that we can process that with our enrollment office.
Got it. Okay, thank you. That was my question.
Thanks. Any other questions? I'm looking back through the chat as well in case anyone asks. Well, thank you again to everyone who joined, and thank you again to our faculty and staff who hopped on. We always really appreciate you joining us, and I know all of you enjoy seeing the future faces of the people you'll be working with and getting to know more about our program. So thank you again for joining us tonight, and I'll just go back real quick if anybody, oh, no, that's the end of the slide, John. If anyone wants to hop again onto those other sessions, again, we definitely recommend. But thank you again, and feel free to reach out with any other questions, or if you don't want any further information or to connect with any of our wonderful faculty, just let us know and we'll help you any step of the way that we can. So thanks again, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your night.